Because the carer is so critical to the quality of life for the person who is with the dementia. And I mean, there may be more than one carer, but in most of my experience, there are one or two people who are very close, and they've got to stay fit and well in a whole variety of ways. In fact, I thought of a nice image because, you know, you may not or may not know, my background is in geology. That's my degree subject. And so I said there are two pits to do with caring. One is the pit of time, and the other is the pit of patience. And both of those pits will be heavily mined while you are actually being a carer. While you've got to think about your time and how you're going to plan it. And also the patience is a matter of personality nearly always. And it may be at the two extremes, you've either got it or you haven't. There's a lot in between, but there's an awful lot that you can do in terms of developing it and maintaining it. I think the other thing is that you need to ensure that your doctor knows the situation that you're in, so that they should, in the best circumstances, I know it's not always true, but they should in the best circumstances be keeping a general eye on you anyway. I think there is a bottom line, and that is you've got to think about it. It may not always be possible, of course, depending upon, you know, family circumstances. I mean, I was lucky I had children close by and so on, but there are people who will have to make a very definite effort to separate, because you do need that separation from time to time. I mean, I would go into this area and say, well, if you haven't got a network of friends, can you get one? Well, as the usual suggestions, I mean, there are plenty of those around now, aren't there? About going out walking, what you eat, keeping your weight down, doing things which support your psychological strength, if I can use that phrase. I could think that it might work if you had somebody who was close enough emotionally to you to be acting as a sort of backstop or assessor of what the state of play was for you in your caring role, because, you know, they would be seeing you in operation and would have some sort of feel for it. There's the need to have this sort of constant awareness, isn't there, when you're with the person, of things they might do. So my first and possibly the most serious observation is get some first aid training. I mean, you've got telephone, you may be able to set up some sort of network which you can say, well, I'm actually in difficulties here, can you come and help? You've got to help a network of friends like that. I think that would be helpful. Well, when you're out and about, you know, well, again, it's a matter of where you are in the dementia cycle. But then there are all these issues, aren't they, about can you let people go out alone? Can you leave them in the house on their own, especially if they're wanting to try and do things, and that's something you don't want to discourage. That's on the positive side, isn't it? But on the other hand, what are the dangers? So yes, I suppose, what do they call it, this assessment thing that you always have to do when you're taking groups of people out and all the rest of it. What's that called again?
A risk assessment.
Risk assessment, yes, risk assessment. You must do that in your own interest as well as the interest of the person who you're caring for. You can't generalize, because every situation is actually different.